It is 2019, and this era has been marked by the Me Too movement and the effort to eliminate sexual discrimination. Sexual discrimination is whenever someone is treated unfairly because of their gender. America has had a long history of gender inequality, and while today girls go to school with little trouble, this was not always the case for girls in America. Boston Latin School was the first public school in America. It was a secondary school with the purpose to prepare boys for college. This school did not allow female students because, in the 17th century, women were viewed as the housekeepers, not as equals to men who also deserve an education. As America began to evolve, girls were allowed to attend public schools. However, because schools were already better equipped to serve boys, girls did not have as many opportunities as guys, especially in sports. Females took note of this inequity and began protesting for girls to be able to play sports. In 1972, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled that schools funded by the government could not facilitate unequal gender programs. The Title IX Education Amendment was put into place after receiving President Nixon's signature. Enjoy this clip of Judge Madison, because who said women can't be judges, reenacting the Title IX Amendment ruling.
No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance.
Since the enactment of Title IX, women's participation in sports has grown exponentially. Title IX is also credited with decreasing the dropout rate of girls from high school and increasing the number of women who pursue higher education and complete college degrees. While this may make it seem like our public school system has eradicated sexual discrimination, there are still stereotypes and prejudices that exist in our culture today that affect our students.
With that being said, we'll explain how these stereotypes often create gender biases that affect education for both guys and girls.
And here you have your typical guy doing a typical guy thing, playing basketball. Now, the stereotype is that guys are supposed to be good at sports, but if a boy isn't good at sports or he isn't athletic and doesn't meet the stereotype, chances are he's going to feel inferior to his peers and believe that he won't be as successful as them. When really, in reality, everyone has different strengths and no one should be discriminated against based off of their gender.
Female students face similar issues when it comes to stereotypes. In the following clip, Madison shares more about her experiences with gender discrimination and the ways it affected her educational journey.
So there have been multiple times in my life where I've experienced some gender discrimination, especially in school. And there's this one time in elementary school that comes to mind whenever I think about this. I was in second grade. I struggled with math all throughout elementary school, but second grade was particularly bad because I went to 3 different schools, so there was sort of that disconnect in curriculum. But I remember I was sitting at the kitchen table one night trying to do my math homework, and I was just really discouraged. It was late at night, and I just wasn't getting it. And my mom came up to me and decided to console me by saying, well, it's okay, sweetie, girls just generally aren't good at math. And at the time, that made me feel better because it made me feel more normal because I didn't understand it. But thinking back on it, I realize now that that made me really underestimate what I could do in math for a long time until I realized that just because I'm a girl, that doesn't necessarily mean that I won't be good at math. So fast forward a few years later, I was in high school, and all throughout high school I loved science. I still love science, but I decided that I wanted to be a doctor. That's just what I wanted to do with my life. And whenever I told people this, some people were supportive, but a lot of others were surprised, and a lot of the reactions I got were people asking me if I wanted to have a family. Well, whenever I replied that I did, they were usually a little less supportive, and they would say maybe I should reconsider being a doctor and be a nurse instead. That way I have time to be a family, or to have a family. And I just feel like just because I want to be a wife and a mom one day, that doesn't mean I can't do something for myself and have a fulfilling career as well. So as you can see, both genders experience discrimination based off of stereotypes that are not necessarily true. With the guys in school, it's more often in subjects like reading or English, but with girls, they often experience negative stereotypes in science and math. And I would hate for students to go through negative experiences because of these stereotypes.
But gender discrimination does not only affect students on a personal level. It contributes to the entire classroom environment, and it is the teacher's job to ensure that these issues do not interfere with the learning process. We'll explore this further by taking a look at Miss McLaughlin's class, where students Jacob and Madison each experience gender discrimination in a variety of ways. For example, many teachers unknowingly call on male students more often than females. This is mainly because boys have a tendency to be more assertive when it comes to answering questions.
All right, who can tell me who the first president of the United States was?
Ooh, Miss McLaughlin, I know this one.
Jacob, what's your answer?
George Washington.
Correct.
Teachers can avoid this form of gender discrimination by using intentional seating arrangements. Since students that sit at the front of the room are typically called on the most, teachers can place quieter female students at those locations to ensure that their voices are heard. Many teachers also use unequal discipline on students of different genders. Watch what happens when a male student makes a negative comment.
Okay, class, can everyone write the answer to 2 plus 2 on your papers?
4.
5.
It's not 5, it's 4. Girls can't do math.
Jacob, we do not talk to our fellow classmates that way. Go to the office right now.
Versus what happens when a female student makes a similar remark.
All right, class, what's 1 plus 1?
2.
1.
The right answer is 2. Girls go to college to get more knowledge. Boys go to Jupiter to get more stupider.
She is right, Jacob. The answer is 2.
Teachers must impart equal consequences for the negative actions of any student, regardless of their gender. This will ensure that students of both sexes feel equally safe and protected in the classroom. Some teachers may hold male and female students to different academic responsibilities. Watch how Miss McLaughlin holds Jacob and Madison to unequal standards when it comes to turning in late work.
Miss McLaughlin, I'm sorry, but I had a football game last night, so I didn't get the chance to finish my homework.
Well, you need to bring it back tomorrow, Jacob, and it'll be 30 points off.
Versus,
Hey, so I totally did not get the chance to finish my homework last night because of cheerleading practice.
Oh, no worries, Madison. No points taken off.
Thank you so much.
in these scenes, we can clearly see discrimination through Miss McLaughlin's inconsistent academic expectations for each gender. Teachers must hold all students equally accountable for their schoolwork so that everyone is pushed to succeed. In addition to the examples and solutions stated previously, there are several other ways educators can avoid sexual discrimination. First, teachers must be aware of their own cultural background and potential bias when selecting and implementing curriculum. They shouldn't only consider material that pertains to or interests students of their same gender. Instead, they should strive to teach subjects in a way that is relevant to both girls and boys, and provide plenty of examples of individuals who have overcome gender stereotypes in their field. Secondly, and perhaps most importantly, teachers should encourage students of every gender to try new things and excel in school. They should constantly reiterate that they believe in every child's abilities, regardless of their sex or the stereotypes that surround it. Educators should empower their students to pursue their interests and equip them with the tools, knowledge, and skills they need to achieve at high levels. Throughout this video, we've discussed the history of sexual discrimination, how stereotypes affect students and the classroom, and how teachers can respond to and avoid gender inequality. While the United States education system has come a long way in regards to sexual discrimination, we have to acknowledge that there's still work to be done to eliminate gender bias on a deeper level. As teachers, we have the opportunity to do this, to reverse stereotypes, encourage children of all genders, and impact our students' lives for good. Will we take it?